everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be making a deco bubble project, and I know I've done a few deco bubbles before on the channel, but this one is a little bit different. Today we're going to be learning how to put a foil balloon into a deco bubble and how to tie it properly so that it will last. So I'm going to show you the balloon that we are making today. This is what we're going to make. So we are using an 18-inch foil heart and we're putting it inside of a 24-inch deco bubble. I wouldn't recommend trying this with a 20-inch deco purely because the foil is too big really for it. It's going to be a really snug fit, and also if you're doing it with helium it's going to make it difficult for it to float because it's quite a big balloon inside of it. So this is what we're going to make. Let's jump straight in to how to do it. Let's just quickly run through the materials that you're going to need to make this project. So what you'll need is a deco bubble. This is a Qualatex deco bubble. I'm using a 24-inch one today, and I've chosen to use the Stylish Hearts one, which has got all these white hearts around the outside of the balloon there. So that is our deco bubble. I would recommend using a 24-inch deco bubble with this project because this balloon that we're going to put inside is an 18-inch. If you were putting it into a 20-inch deco, you're going to find it's quite a snug fit. You can do this project with both air and helium, and if you're doing it with helium, you may struggle to actually get a 20-inch deco bubble to float with the foil balloon inside of it because of the extra weight of that foil. So that's the bubble that you're going to need. Then I have a foil heart in the pink. This one is a Amscan pale pink balloon. Then I've also got 4 5-inch latex balloons that I'm going to use to make a collar to go around the bottom of my bubble. You don't need these necessarily, but it's just to finish off my design. And then I've got a 260Q again in the pink to match throughout my design, so that if any of this is visible then it's not going to look too out of place. Whereas if I was using a bright balloon like maybe this yellow one, you're going to see that and it's going to show up on your design, and you don't necessarily want that. So that one is what I'm going to use to tie my balloon. As I said, you can do this balloon with helium or air. Today I'm going to do it with air just to show you what to do. So I'm just going to be using a hand pump today just for ease of manoeuvring things on my craft desk. As I said before, I'm using a 24-inch deco bubble today, and I'm going to show you quickly how this differs from a bobo balloon. So I've got a bobo here. Here is a bobo balloon, and I know a lot of my viewers are familiar with bobos because you use them for your own balloon decor. This is one that I got online from Greetings House, and I'll link it down below for you. This is how the deco bubble comes. Okay, so let's get the deco bubble out and just make the quick comparison between the two. So in the deco bubble, we get the actual bubble, and we also get this moisture pack here. And the purpose of the moisture pack is just to keep this bubble moist and supple so that when you are inflating it, the stretchy plastic doesn't become brittle and crack or break in any way. This piece just gets thrown away. You don't need to keep it or do anything with it. Something to mention is if you plan on using a deco bubble and then you change your mind, it's a good idea to put it back into the packaging and seal the top with some tape, leaving the moisture pack inside. 9 times out of 10 it will save that balloon for you to use in the future, but never leave just a deco bubble out on the side for a long period of time because it will damage that balloon. Let's put the packaging in the bin, and then we can open this up. And the first thing that you're going to notice is the size of it compared to the bobo balloon. So look at the size of that balloon. I can't even fit it all into my frame. So I've just tried to stretch my camera up so that you can see how big that 24-inch deco bubble is. Here is the little tiny bobo balloon. So with the bobo, what you would do is stretch it using your fingers, and it's really quite tough to do, and you don't need to do this with a deco bubble. The deco bubble just inflates from the size that it is, whereas this one needs to be pulled and manipulated before you can even start to use it. Personally, I would not recommend this balloon for helium filling at all. This is the balloon of choice for me and for me in my business, and we use these every single day of the week. They are our best-selling balloon by far. These are a little bit more expensive, they last a lot longer. I can make a Deco bubble last 3 weeks with helium using the special tying method with the 260Q. Again, there's a video on that, so I'll link that for you above if you haven't seen it, and down below. I love Deco bubbles, they're just the best balloon I've ever come across for this sort of design. So that is our Deco bubble. Let's grab our foil balloon now. And what we're going to want to do first of all is roll up this balloon, and we need to be really careful with it because it has a self-sealing valve inside here, and we don't want to damage that when we're rolling it. So what I'm going to do first of all is just fold my balloon over, and I'm folding with the valve in place here. So I've folded off of the valve and I can feel the valve here. If you look at that, you can probably even see the valve. There's a line here and there's a line here, and that is basically where the valve sits. So let's fold that back now. And then what you'll want to do is roll your balloon, and you'll want to roll it as small as you possibly can and keep it quite tight. You can be quite firm with it, but you don't need to over fold or anything like that. Just try and get it as small as you can and roll it over, because we've got to get it through the neck of the Deco bubble, and the Deco bubble neck is quite small. So that's the neck of the Deco. As you can see, it's probably big enough for me to get my thumb through, but it still is quite snug around my thumb there. And I just want to try and get this into there now. So we're going to open the neck of the balloon, and we're going to pop that into there and just push the balloon all the way into there. And we're going to leave the inflation part of the valve sticking out below the actual neck of the Deco. So you can see where the Deco bubble ends, and there is the inflation valve. Okay, so our balloon is inside of our Deco bubble, so now we can inflate this balloon. So get your inflator, if you're using a trigger valve or you're using a helium tank, inflate your foil balloon inside, and don't forget that because you're doing this by hand, you are not going to have a stop on the valve like you would if you were using a foil valve on your split second sizer or whatever. So be careful when you're inflating to make sure that you don't overinflate this foil. So there we go, we're just going to keep going and inflate it fully. Okay, so once it starts to get a bit full, you'll see on the side that you've got these wrinkles appear, and that's perfectly normal for a foil. So let's just go a little bit more. Okay, so this is what it should look like now. You've got your foil balloon inside of your Deco bubble, and what you'll want to make sure is that you've got your balloon pulled down into the neck as far as you can, so you can see that that little bit of inflation is right there ready now for me to inflate the Deco bubble. Before we inflate the Deco bubble, you want to get your 260Q, and you can either tie it with this just as it is if you want to. Another method is to take the air out of this. So all you'll need to do is just hold the balloon at the sealed end and just run your fingers down it, and it's basically just removing all of the air from that balloon. So just pull it through your fingers until you get to the end that's got the little ring on it at the neck. Keep it tight in your fingers and just tie that into a knot on the end. And now you can see that 260Q has become really flat, so it's like a balloon ribbon almost. So this is ready now for us to tie. So you want to do this before you inflate your Deco, and then what we'll do is just put this to one side now while we inflate the Deco bubble. So now, if you're not familiar with a Deco bubble, when we inflate this, it's going to inflate and it's going to get some wrinkles on the side in much the same way that the foil balloon has here. Whereas with a foil balloon, we would stop inflating and we wouldn't keep going until all the wrinkles are gone. With the Deco bubble, that's exactly what we do. So we keep inflating until all the wrinkles have gone out of this balloon, and it basically then starts to look a little bit like a beach ball. So you'll see what I mean when I inflate it. So I'm just going to pop my inflator inside the Deco bubble neck, and I'm just keeping the neck of the foil balloon in my other hand so that I don't lose that in any way. So I'm just holding that as well. Then I'm going to create a nice tight seal around my inflator and just pump that up. I've just turned the balloon on its side so that you'll be able to see the change in the edge of the balloon on the seams once we start to get to the point where we're going to stop inflating. So I've just taken out my inflation pump from there, and you can see now all of the wrinkles have disappeared around the edge. It's really flat and it looks really well inflated. However, look what's happened to our heart. The reason that our heart has gone a bit squishy inside is because of the fact that the pressure of the air that we've put into the bubble is pushing that balloon inside, and it's basically collapsing the molecules of the air that's inside the heart there. So we need to just give that a little bit more of an inflation. So next what I'll want to do is just get my inflator back into this valve and just give my heart a couple more pumps. Okay, so I've just given that a couple more pumps there. So now that we have inflated our foil balloon and we have our bubble nicely inflated here as well, what we're going to do is twist that balloon around whilst holding on to the bottom of the necks, so it's nicely twisted. And what we're going to do now is wrap our 260Q around this neck of this twisted balloon here. So there is our twisted neck of our balloon, and here is our 260Q. And what we want to do now is get that around there so it's wrapped around that particular balloon. We are going to cross it over and pull this as tightly as we can, and we don't want to rip that 260, but we want to keep wrapping it around. So just use your fingers to do this, and we want to go around it quite a lot. Normally when we do this we would probably go around it 3 or 4 times, but we're actually going to keep going around it because we need to really try and seal this balloon, and it's quite difficult to do that with a foil inside it. It's different to when you're doing it with a latex balloon because you are using the latex from the inside neck to help you. So just keep wrapping it round, and then once we have wrapped that round quite a few times, we've got quite a good connection there. What we can do is tie this in a knot, and I normally do 2 knots as well. So I'm just going to tie that off, just give it a good tug to tie it. Then I'll bring it round to the other side here and just tie it once more. Nice and tight. And then we don't need these extra bits of 260Q, so we can just snip those off. Let's just get a pair of scissors and snip them off. So that is how the neck on your balloon should look once you have wrapped that 260Q all the way around, and it's, as you can see, creating quite a good seal there. So the balloon is nicely inflated with no wrinkles in the edge, and it looks pretty good so far. The next thing to do then is just to make a quad of 5-inch balloons to go on the neck of here, just to finish it off. So I'm just going to inflate these using my hand pump again. To make a quad, what you'll need to do is inflate 2 balloons to the same size, cross them over one another, wrap around, and then tie the 2 necks together underneath. And one thing that I always do is just take off the spare pieces of the necks, because I just don't like the way they look with those on there. Plus the fact, if you are inflating with helium, that's extra weight dragging your balloon down. So again, cross them over and then tie underneath into a knot. And then to make your quad, what you're going to do is pop them over one another like this and just wrap them around. And I like to do them so that they are alternating in colour. So that's just a scrap piece of 260, and all I do now is just put that around there. So I'm just going to bend it over, and then I'll just put that around my neck of my balloon, and then I just put the two end pieces through there just to create a cinch knot. So now I've got those attached onto there, and then I'm just going to get my balloons, pop them on the top, and just grab my piece of 260. So I've got one on either side, and then I'm just going to wrap that around there just to create a nice secure attachment onto that deco bubble. And then you can wrap that underneath. You can cut them off if you want to, or you can leave them as it is, and that just finishes off your deco bubble nicely. So here's our finished deco bubble. Doesn't it look amazing with the heart inside it? Don't forget that you could put vinyl onto that as well and make it look even more special and personalise it to add even more value to your balloon design. So if you were doing this with helium now, you would be able to just let that float, put a double collar on it maybe, and put some streamers on it, maybe some tulle. Really upsell it to your customer to make it worthwhile for them. And this can be used for birthdays, it can be used for christenings, we use it for Mother's Day. There's so many different options. This one is going to be for Mother's Day, and I'm going to put it onto a tower in the shop, so hopefully we will sell this for Mother's Day. So if you've learned something new and you have enjoyed this video, I'd love to see you hit that like button, because it really does help me to see what sort of videos you guys are interested in. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, I'd love to see you again for the next one, so don't forget to subscribe. Drop me any questions or comments that you might have down below as well. So all that's left to be said now is have a great week, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye!